Hi yogis, welcome back to my basement yoga studio. So some of you know that my birthday is at the end of April, and when I do live classes, I like to share a quote of what the old yogi said on his birthday, which is, "I want no gifts, only presence." Of course, that is presence with a CE on the end. And in honor of that, in honor of my birthday week, I'm theming all of the videos that I filmed this week, both the yoga videos and the meditation videos, around the theme of presence. So that is what we're going to do today. Presence really means awareness of this here and now moment, just as it is, with a sense of curiosity, a sense of interest, and without judging. So as we move into this presence practice, take a seat, find any comfortable seat. I'm sitting up on my knees to bring me up a little bit more in the frame. You can sit cross-legged, you can sit in the chair, you can even lie for a few moments. And take these first few moments to arrive, to gather your attention to this moment, being in the present. And being present in your body as well. So in these first few moments, arrive in your body. Feel your body touching the ground. Draw your awareness to your breath, to sensations, to everything there is that's going on in your body. Allowing it to be. Showing interest in yourself. And then we'll add some movement of the body, a simple movement coordinating the breath with the movement of the body to start taking us through this present practice. And we're going to be doing a lot of coordinating the movement with the breath, and we'll also be doing some asymmetrical movement, so moving from one side of the body or unevenly on one side of the body so that we can coordinate a little bit and pay even more attention. So this first movement will start simply with a seated cat-cow. So again, find a comfortable seat. You can be seated in a chair or cross-legged. There's a lot of ways to do this. I recommend for this version to place your fingertips behind your ears so that when you breathe in, you can reach your elbows back, draw your shoulder blades back, draw your chest forward as the breath flows in. Maybe look up a little bit for a little upper back bend. And then as you exhale, reverse that by drawing your elbows toward each other, drawing your belly in, arching your back, maybe drawing your chin down a little bit. And that's our cat stretch. 2 more times, breathing in, flowing into a cow stretch or a seated cow. Exhaling, elbows together or toward together anyway. And then one more breath in, expanding your body with breath, being present of how that feels. And then as you exhale, arching back. And then you can release your arms. We'll come to a hands and knees position or tabletop. If you'd like to pad on your knees, you can double over your mat, that's fine. I'm going to turn to the side and place my hands, fingers spread wide so I can see my mat underneath my fingers. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. I'm going to follow movement with breath very simply by taking one hand about a handprint forward. You can start with whatever hand. The other hand follows it. And then moving the hand back under the shoulder, other hand. So I'll do this about 2 to 3 more times, becoming aware of the feeling of the mat under my hands, the sound of my hands as it touches the mat. I'm not trying to accomplish anything or do anything, get anything done, other than staying present in the moment. And then switch the lead hand. So I'm going to start with my left this time. Same thing, forward, forward, back, back. Trying to stay as aware as possible. And if my mind wanders, I bring it back to what I'm doing this moment. I think we did about 4 on the other side, so about 1 more on this side. And then when you come back to center, reset in the middle if you need to. We'll take another asymmetrical movement, again coordinating arm with leg. So this time stretch one leg back, tucking the toes under. And you can get a little calf stretch. This feels good since my toes were cramping a little on that side. And then switch to the other leg. Tuck the toes under, stretch the calf. You can rock with this a little bit. Back to the first leg. And then this time, step the opposite hand a little bit forward as you did before. Feel how your body is a little bit more asymmetrical, a little bit more off center. And if you'd like, float the back leg off the floor any amount, trying to keep the toes pointed down rather than out to the side, lifting the leg as if it's one piece, no higher than hip height. And then option to add the opposite arm, stretching the arm and leg away from each other. This is called bird dog or sometimes drunken table. And float everything back down. We'll take that to the second side. Step your right leg out behind or whatever your second leg is, tucking the toes under. Step the opposite hand a little forward. Give yourself a moment to get stable here. So if you need to readjust, if this hip is dipping too low, if you feel uneven, readjust. And then if you'd like, float the back leg up. It can stay up a little. Float the front arm up. If you feel stable, maybe you reach the leg a little higher, sending the heel away from you, pointing your fingertips toward the front. And then exhale. Everything comes down. And release. So you get the sense of starting to allow that movement and being in our body to really focus our attention. So we are going to come up to standing. I'll be standing a little bit behind my mat so that my head doesn't get cut off. Take your toes a little bit wider than your hip width and knees are turned out. So if I bend my knees, which we'll be doing, my knees track directly toward my middle toes. I'm going to do a little bit of a goddess flow. So as you breathe in, raise your arms up overhead. I know you can't see my fingertips, that's fine. As you exhale, start to bend your knees, bend your arms, come into goddess pose. And so you can take a peek down and see, are your knees collapsing inward? That probably is going to feel less stable. See if you can open up using the muscles of your inner thighs, knees toward the middle of your toes. Arms are bent in this nice cactus position. And then as you exhale, hinge from the hips, reach down as if you're scooping something up with your fingertips. Inhale, lift and present that forward, coming back to stand. Exhale, bend your knees again, but this time open your arms extended wide, so an extended version of goddess pose. And then inhale, sweep everything back up. Exhale and release. So we'll do that little flow 2 more times. Simply try to be in your body with this flow. Listen to me, but only enough as you need to follow along. So inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bend knees, bend elbows into goddess pose. Inhale, hinge forward from the hips, scooping down with your fingertips. You don't have to come all the way to the ground. Exhale, scoop up and forward. Inhale, knees bend again, arms extend out to the side. Next, inhale, lift your arms back up. And exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, float your arms up overhead, extending long and tall. Exhale, bend your knees, bend your arms, goddess pose. Inhale, forward fold, and you can keep your hands on your thighs if you like. You can keep your knees a little bit bent. Both of those options are fine. Next, inhale, reach forward, the arms scooping up, coming up to tall on your exhale. Inhale, arms spread wide. Extended goddess, exhale here. Next, inhale, lift your arms up tall. And then exhale, release. That feels really nice to me. It starts to give me some shoulder joint movement. We'll take the feet back closer together, just heel to toe in my feet closer together. I'm going to step back a little further so my head doesn't get cut off. This puts me on the carpet, which is going to be a little bit more wobbly for me. So we'll see how I do, because the next thing we're going to be doing is a little bit of a balance challenge. This is also going to be an asymmetrical movement. So we're going to change the move from one side to the other. I'm going to do a little wood chop, and then we'll be adding a knee lift. So you'll see how it goes. So I'm going to mirror you by starting to bend my knees and reach down toward what'll be your right side. So on a knee bending, you might want to breathe in with this. Bend your knees, send your hips back. It's like a little version of chair. Reach your arms over to the side. You can look a little behind you. And then as you exhale, sweep the arms up to the opposite side, maybe lifting the heel a little bit on the right side. And then let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach down one direction. Exhale, sweep up. Getting as big a movement from one side to the other. Exhale, sweep up. And so then we'll go back down. This time, keep your right foot on the floor. And as you come up, option to lift the left knee up. And you'll see I'll wobble and I'll touch down. So let's try that 2 more times. Inhale, reach down. Exhale, lift the heel, lift the knee as you come up. And 1 more time. And you can spread the feet a little wider if that feels more stable. Inhale, reach down. Exhale, reach up and tall. Maybe hover there for a moment. Feel the wobble. Wobbling is totally okay. And then exhale, come down. All right, reset. Sometimes it feels good to take a little wiggle. And then we'll switch to the second side. So this time it'll be your left side, bending your knees, reaching down to the left. So you're reaching somewhere toward the outside of the foot, the ankle. I'm not trying to touch the floor at all. And then on the exhale, I'm sweeping across front, reaching over my opposite shoulder, and I might lift the left foot a little bit, turn in that direction. So 2 more times like this. Inhale, reach down, send the hips back. Exhale, reach up opposite direction. 1 more time like this. Inhale, reach down. Exhale, reach up. And then inhale, reach down. Remember, the heel is going to stay down on your left foot this time because we're going to lift the right knee, optional. As you reach up, lift. Lift and reach. 2 more times that way. Inhale, reach down. Exhale. You might lift the knee at the same time as the arms, or it might come up at the end. 1 more time. Inhale, reach down. Exhale, reach up. Okay to touch down. See if you can hold and reach for a moment. Hover there. Maybe you hover with your foot a little lower. And then exhale, touch down. It's fine to laugh at yourself. We're working on our balance. We're working on being present. If you're laughing at yourself and noticing that you're falling over, well, then you're present in the moment. So let's come back down to the mat. Slide my mat a little bit away. All right, so from here, we're going to lie on the back. We're going to start with a movement that is going to be pretty much the same as we did on hands and knees, our bird dog movement, except we're going to do it face up. Sometimes it's called dead bug, face up. You can call it upside down bird dog or whatever you want. So come to lie on your back. And on your back, knees bent, hips are resting on the floor, shoulders resting on the floor. Reach your arms straight up and then your knees straight over your hips. So you can feel how this is similar to what we did on hands and knees, right? Just upside down. Stay here for a moment. Breathe. And then we'll stretch the leg out first. I'm going to take the one that's nearer to the screen, my left leg, by moving the heel away from me, stretching the leg out. So I don't want to take it so low that I really have a major increase in my back arch. I don't know if you can see, but my back arch way up doing that. I only want to take it out enough that I have a little bit of space in my lower back, but my lower ribs stay toward the floor.
And then if I can maintain that, I can add the opposite arm. Again, any amount. It doesn't have to come all the way down to the floor. That might not feel so great on the shoulder. Maybe about here. And then exhale, come back through center. Take the opposite leg out long. Make sure that you can keep the back of the hips, back of the bottom ribs snuggled toward the floor. Opposite arm can come out. Come back up. Who knew you were going to get a little bonus core work? Okay, same, back to the first side. This time we're going to try to do it simultaneously. Breathe here. So don't hold your breath, keep breathing. Even if I say inhale and exhale, if we're holding a pose, you still breathe in the pose. Exhale back through center. And then one more time. Plus I have to breathe because my breath is getting a little more labored here. Breathe. Exhale through center. Okay, and you can release your arms, release your legs down. So place your feet so that they're pretty much either foot is in front of either sits bone. There's a little bit of width between your legs, although you might like them wider or closer, and that's fine too. Again, allowing our body to flow with the breath. We'll do a little bit of a pelvic curl, and then we'll add more of a flowing bridge movement. So for a pelvic curl, as you inhale, you will push the tailbone in the floor and exaggerate that back arch. So if you can see, my back's arching away from the floor. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, push the back ribs and the back, so you're removing that curve. We're flattening the curve here. And do that a few more times. Inhale, overarching. Exhale, tuck. So it's really mainly just your pelvis that's moving. Your pelvis is going in one direction with the breath, and then the other. And settle back to a more neutral position. Reach your arms up, straight up like they were when our knees were up. Inhale, come to the back arch. And next time as you exhale, begin to curve your back, push into your feet, start to lift your hips, send your arms up and overhead. Hold for a moment, pushing into your feet, lifting your hips, sending your knees in the opposite direction. Exhale, hands come back down. They can come all the way down to the mat. You can take that little arch. And as you inhale, tuck. Continue the tuck as you start to move into your feet. Reach and scoop your arms overhead. Take a breath here. And exhale. And release. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, push into your feet, reach up and overhead. Take a breath here. And next, exhale. Lower. Gradually on your back. Come all the way down. All right, you can roll to one side. So the last thing we're going to do is going to be a little sideways flow, a little twisting flow. I love how this feels on my spine. We're not using any props for this practice, but you can always prop up anything that needs to be more soft. So you can prop up under your knees or under your feet for this practice. And we're going to lie on our side to start. So come with both knees bent as if they were seated in a chair, lying all the way down on your side, and then your hands will stack on top of each other. So we always take a moment to be where we are, be here in this new position. As we inhale, take your top fingers, crawl them a little bit further away from you. So you're kind of pulling the shoulder blades apart. And as you exhale, begin to slide that hand along the other one, all the way across your body, and then open your arms into a T position. So your torso will be face up, your bottom, both hands will be faced up, your shoulder that's opposite your knees is moving back toward the floor. On your next inhale, raise that arm back up, or you can crawl it across your chest. Walk it forward a little bit. Exhale, slide it along your body. Open up into your twist. You can take a moment to hold here. Next inhale, this time I'm going to do it rainbowing the arm overhead, reaching back out to the opposite hand. One more inhale or exhale, however it feels good to move with your breath. Open up wide. Feel your body resting in this twist. Think about being long in the torso, so the hip that's in the air, send it down toward your feet, not toward your feet diagonally, but just down in the direction of your spine so that this side isn't crunched up. And moving with your breath, come back, lying on your side. Now you can just flip over here so you can take everything over to the other side. I'm going to turn so that I stay facing you. So bend your knees, your side body is on the ground, your hands are stacked, and you can adjust the bending of your knees. So you might draw them a little bit more up toward your chest. Maybe they're down a little bit lower. Maybe they're even a little bit more staggered. That's fine as long as it feels good in your hips, feels good in your knees. You can have a cushion or a pillow between them. So that's what I said about gathering your props, even though we're not using any props today. Once you feel comfortable in the side lying position, breathe in, crawl your fingertips out a little bit further. And then exhale, do the rainbow this time over the head, opening up. Oh, and this is the part that feels so nice on my body as I move the spine. And you can adjust. I'm wiggling a little bit to adjust, sending the shoulder blade of the opposite arm even a little bit more back toward the ground. Finding a position where I can rest for a moment. And then next breath, again, I'll rainbow the arm overhead, sending it back toward the other hand. Inhale, reach the shoulder blades apart, and then arm comes up and over. Your head can look straight up. If you have more mobility in your neck, maybe you look away. Maybe again, you have a small pillow under your head. Exhale, reach back, and we'll do one more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, slide your hand either overhead or across your body. Breathe here a moment. And then exhale, return to side lying. So that's our last pose. Come to lying on your back. And you can rest here with your knees maybe gently bumped toward each other and resting together like a little triangle. Maybe you spread out in a full relaxation pose or shavasana. Maybe you stay side lying and lie here with your head resting on your hands. So take a few moments to find a comfortable rest. I'm going to come up to seated. And we'll start to wind down today's presence practice. Stay present in your rest pose. So at the end of a more active yoga practice, even a gentle one like this, sometimes we are so ready to go running off to whatever else we have to do. These few minutes of rest is like a synthesis for everything you've done, the chance to reconnect your mind and body, to again be aware, to be in the present, to be in your body. It's so important to do that while not doing anything, while not moving, because that is our cue to check in with ourselves throughout the day, to remember that I don't have to be doing anything, I can just be being. So take just a little bit longer of being. I have a quote that I want to share. So
there's so many quotes about being in the now and presence. This one is actually new to me. I just discovered it from author Dan Millman. He said, "The time is now. The place is here. Stay in the present. You can do nothing to change the past, and the future will never come exactly as you plan or hope for." So I think the reason why this quote spoke to me is related to our current situation. This present is, at one point, it was the future that none of us planned or hoped for. We're certainly in a situation that we had not intended or thought about or necessarily wanted. Yet here we are. This is our present. And right now, my present moment, I'm sitting on the mat teaching you one of my favorite things to do. Whatever is going on in the world, this moment, I'm doing one of my favorite things. We can only look to each and every moment. So if you were lying down, roll to one side, help yourself up to a seated position. And you can find any comfortable seat. Maybe it's how you sat at the start of class, maybe it's a different position. So sometimes I like to conclude class with a mudra. Whenever we place our hands together at our heart center, this is Anjali Mudra. Mudra is just a hand gesture. The thing I like about mudras, they're intended to be for all different reasons and purposes. But for me, I think they can just help with that sense of being in the now and presence. It can help draw our attention to our hands, our feeling in our body, and again, being in our body. So the mudra I'm going to suggest for today is called Hakini Mudra. It's fingertips of both hands together like this.